I could go on, but I won't. I'll say good morning to Paul Britton. He's a leading criminal defence lawyer. Joins me live in the studio. Paul, good morning.
Very good morning, James.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
I can sense your excitement at what Keir Starmer has said. Let's go to the front page of the Times. Sunak, my 5 pledges to restore British pride. We've been through them. I mean, look, it was a speech that he gave. It was weird in places.
It didn't put enough meat on the bone, did it? It was a good opportunity for Rishi.
There was no meat on any bone. I mean, for example, so he set out these 5 pledges. Why didn't he do this a week after he became Prime Minister? I mean, if he doesn't know what's going on in this country, to be able to say what's wrong and say these are going to be my priorities and then I'm going to come back to you with some plans. What I wanted him to say in that speech was, OK, so these are the 5 pledges. Either this is how we're going to do it and what we're going to do, or alternatively, this is when I'm going to come back to you to tell you how we're going to do it and what we're going to do.
I think that the advice that Rishi's had to date is keep a low profile, say less, don't let the newspapers grab news headlines that can damage your premiership, and just stick to the issues. But
why did you say we're either going to do it or not? Who came up with that daft, whoever his speechwriter is, needs to be fired?
Well, I think he's writing it himself, or maybe Boris is helping.
It sounded like a business plan from somebody who's just started a job at a big firm and nobody's given him really much guidance as to what he needs to do.
And isn't it, I mean, when you take the point, he does claim that he is a big businessman, so...
But that's the point. But what I want to see is, and what I would be saying, and look, I'm fortunate enough to have some business roles away from here, which is fine. OK, so you've got your 5 pledges. I actually think they're OK. I mean, it's not like, all right, there's lots more to do, but those are the...
But there's nothing new, there's nothing amazing that's come out of it. The kind of things that all governments have been focusing on.
Exactly, but where is the... By the way, I've worked out what's going wrong here. So why didn't he give the omission on the NHS? The reason that the NHS isn't working is because, and we know, because doctors and medical experts have told us, we know that we don't have enough GPs. We know that people are going to A&E because they're not able to get a GP appointment. We know that the older life care is causing a problem because we're not getting people out of hospital quick enough, which means that we have this gridlock when it's getting people into hospital. We have enough ambulances. What we don't have is the ability to take the person from the ambulance and get that ambulance out again. It's not rocket science.
It's the turnaround times. I mean, we can go through the statistics, but I think you've probably well ventilated them already. A&E waiting times are up to... I mean, in 2007, I think the average person would wait less than 2 hours to get through A&E to be seen by a doctor.
Yeah, and it's just
and
not
now over
acceptable
50%
to have these
are
waits.
waiting
Yes.
that same 4 hours.
To my mind, it's not acceptable. We've given him a range of scores. I gave Rishi 4 out of 10. I was being benevolent, but there was also a see me afterwards, as in, this is not good enough. OK, so you've come out with some stuff. It's not all terrible. It's not good enough. I need to give you some guidance as to what you need to do next, would be my response. What would you give him out of 10?
On this speech alone?
Yes.
I think 4 is very generous, because there's just not enough there.
OK, so what would you give him then?
Probably a 2.
Oh.
Because as we said, James, there's just not enough information there, is there?
So would you fire him?
It's pathetic. I don't think we can fire him yet. It's too early. It's not... Has it been 44 days? I'm sure it's been 44 days.
It's pathetic. I mean, OK. Sunak promises to halve inflation, expand the economy and cut NHS waits. I mean, what I find funny, though, is he says half inflation. Inflation is currently at, say, 10%. If he halves it to 5, the Bank of England target is 2. It still means that it's too high.
Yeah, and I mean, the Bank of England already said that we've seen the worst of it, we've peaked, and they forecast it coming down to 5-6% by Q3. So that's nothing new. That's an easy pledge to make. And as we know, the government don't impact on that measure. Grow the economy. I mean, every government wants to grow the economy. It's kind of been a...
But you see on that, so how are you going to do it? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And then the thing is, I want overseas investment, I want increased trade deals, increased productivity, and then incentives for the personal and the individual.
But has he thought about how he's going to do any of those?
No, I don't think so.
I mean,
the thing is, this has taken so long that one has to wonder what's going on in his brain.
But I think the reducing the debt one is a difficult one.
I feel like I've got a box which has got a couple of spanners in it, and it's just like... rattling them around, and then that's it.
Yeah.
The spanners have got this, like, that's it. That's all that's going on in his brain. Come on, Rishi, you can do better. You went to Winchester, for goodness sake. Otherwise, your parents should be asking for their money back. 50 grand a year.
Tell us what you're going to do.
Tell us what you're going to do. No, actually, tell us how you're going to do it. That's what I want. How and what?
Well, that's what Keir Starmer's asking for. It's promises too
Well,
late.
I want some more from him.
And he's also
Mr.
saying...
Hindsight.
Well, he's saying that, you can't buy your way out of this, so I don't know what the other option is.
We'll come on to that in a moment, because we'll have to pull him to pieces. Daily Mirror, Tory hospital scandal. You see, I really find this distasteful, which is like, oh, let's politicise the NHS again. And, of course, it's political, I understand that, but just to say, ooh, Tory, the Tories... Labour had Tory hospital scandal. Labour had Labour scandals as well.
Again, it's nothing new, is it?
No, it's not, but it really irritates me. It's like, no, we've got a problem within the NHS. When are we going to stop kicking it around like a football and realise and also understand as a nation that we as individuals have responsibilities on how we use it, just as much as the government has a responsibility to put the right things in place, and the hospitals and the NHS have a responsibility to deliver.
Yeah, but James, there's always going to be the possibility of stories like this. Because even if it was perfect and it was a finely tuned instrument, things are going to slip through.
People die. People get ill.
People do die.
Things go wrong. We get it. The Sun. Apparently Virgin Mary has given birth in Peterborough. Slow news day. Daily Star. I have a cunning plan. A PM to fix the NHS but can't say when. PM to cut debt but can't say exactly when. PM to cut in immigration but can't say exactly when. And they've got a picture of Blackadder, and then there's Rishi Sunak has been photoshopped as Baldrick.
I mean, the sums of money that we've given to France to try and stop these boats coming over, I mean, it's eye-watering. Just 63 million this year.
It's in the context of how much those immigrants are costing this nation.
Yeah. Well, we're giving this money to France to fix the problem rather than fixing it here. In 2018, 45 million. I mean, you add it up over the years.
Yes, of
They've
course.
had hundreds of millions of pounds to stop this problem, and it continues.
Yeah, because it's the wrong solution for the...
If he was running a business like this...
Oh, you'd fire him.
You'd fire him.
But then
you'd give him a two.
The government sprays money around it, it's like it's water.
Like it's going out of fashion.
Oh, it's gone out of fashion, I tell you. You can only buy your way out of recession once too many times. Daily Express, Rishi, judge me on my pledges to fix Britain. Yeah, we're judging you, Rishi. Come on, you can do better. Guardian, PPE gowns in £122 million order not for safer use in the NHS is their main story. But also Sunak urges people to judge him on results. Rishi, judge me on my 5-point plan. The I newspaper, NHS sending patients to hotels to ease bed blocking. Daily Telegraph, Starmer, we're no longer the party of big spending. Really? I mean, this is the problem, is that they keep trying to sort of say, oh yeah, there can't be the party of big spending, and I don't care which party, whoever's in it, you can't tax any more. It's already too high. The disincentives for work are now so significant that they will find, go and do your homework on the Laffer curve, we are there.
So it's an easy one for Keir to pledge. We're not going to raise taxes anymore because they're already taxed to high, we are already taxed to high heaven. So it's just paying lip service to it. But I think it's another relaunch. Keir Starmer just tends to blow with the wind. Whatever he thinks popular is what he'll go with. And I think this is just another example of that.
But he's come up with zero policies either.
Are they a formidable opponent to the current government? What's going to happen?
No, the only reason that they're popular is that they're not Rishi Sunak and they're not the Conservatives.
Yeah.
That's it. In my view, the reason that Tony Blair came to power is because he and they had an ideology, but they also had a clear narrative and what they were going to do. And whether you like it or whether you don't, they were clear and they did start to do it.
And they moved more to a more balanced, more centre ground.
Same with Thatcher. Thatcher had, even though some of the stuff that she did was desperately unpopular, she had a very clear direction of travel. You knew the direction of travel. Yeah. She'd identified the problems as she saw them. She explained what they were and told you what they were going to do about it.
Well, Thatcher was once asked, wasn't she, what was your biggest achievement? And she said, Tony Blair, because because she was very satisfied that she had pulled him so far to the right, or had made him centre ground.
Yeah.
That was her greatest achievement.
And that was a fine achievement. Sadly, her legacy has been ripped up by all sorts of people who seem to think that international trade and relations aren't important.
But by extremists in the Labour Party that have pulled it left again.
But both of them. You know, they one thing that Blair did do, though, is he wrecked the relationship with the EU so much that we've ended up where we are now.
Did he wreck it with them?
Yeah, because he opened the door and didn't agree with it. He gave the money back that we used to get, and he made that 10% of people who probably would have voted to stay in the European Union vote against it.
He gave up our rebate. Okay, so
he gave up the rebate and he opened the door.
So Blair alienated the British public.
Because they created the immigration problem without the solution that was going to work. Anyway, that's my take on it. We'll get some stories from the papers in a moment. Oh, Royston, I'm sorry. We'll come to you in a second as well. Oh, I'm so behind. We'll come to calls, things, stuff, stories, everything next.